Time for the breakdown. Hey yo, what's going on YouTube? It's DS Pyro coming in with another video. Before I jump into it, like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, all that jazz. But like I always say, you should probably like and comment and subscribe after you've seen it, just in case you didn't like it, but hopefully you do. In case you couldn't tell, at the beginning of the intro and the title, I'm gonna be breaking down the Avengers second official trailer, so we can see what's going on and so if there's anything that you guys have missed, or if I have not said anything, let me know in the comment section below and we can jump into it. Okay, so first things first. The coloring in the opening scenes and pretty much throughout the kind of trailer for at least the first half of it, all black and white, red, monochrome, and all that jazz. Thanos is gonna get nothing but blood and dust. And that's kind of what he got. Also, in the opening scenes, you kind of really get the feel that there's kind of a trilogy. They're showing the people who have the trilogy movies, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, they all have their own set of trilogies, whereas you notice that Black Widow and Hawkeye kind of share the screen in terms of that. And Hulk, you don't see Hulk, you see a bit of Banner throughout the trailer here and there, but no Hulk. Something that really got me in this was Pepper Potts holding a helmet to her head. Now, it looked like at least one side of it, the helmet that Tony is talking to, leaving a message for her, but from what I could see, it didn't look like it was kind of battered, battle worn, torn, and all that kind of stuff. It just seemed normal. So maybe it's just some kind of trickery of the trailer, or it's at a different time. Maybe it's when she realized he has gone on to another planet. It could be before. We don't know. We have to wait for the movie to find out. Something that's highly interesting about this monochromic, I think that's the word, I don't know, part of the trailer is that Captain America's gloves are actually red, whereas normally, at least in Infinity War, they were brown. To me, this kind of brought on a message of the blood that is on Captain America's hands now that everyone, well, not everyone, half the population is dead, and he's always been the kind of character to take things on his shoulders and take responsibility and make the sacrifice. And now that the sacrifice that he attempted to make didn't work, he's got the blood on his hands as visualized with this red instead of the brown normal gloves. Then we actually have Clint Barton not on house arrest. Lucky for some to have a whole plot of land to kind of just roam around on. Some other people just have, a little townhouse just to play hide and seek and rob the jewelry with their daughter, okay? It's unfair. It's unfair that you have I'm joking. In this scene, we actually see him teaching his daughter Leah, I believe her name is in the MCU. We see him teaching her archery. I think this is going to lead them to adopting the character of Kate Bishop from the comics, who actually takes on the Hawkeye mantle into the next Hawkeye. Also, what you'll see in this situation, I guess, is seeing as opposed to not seeing, is that he has all of his hair. So I'm pretty sure this is before the decimation actually happens, before he takes on his Ronin title. Well, we presume it's going to be the Ronin title. We don't know that officially yet, but come on. It has to be that, looking at everything. He has a sword and the black, and it looks like that. However, what I think is going to happen in this scene, at least in the movie, is that this is where his family gets dusted away and he's high-fiving her and it all just falls down. She's just gone. She's decimated. She's done. She's dusted. This does put a little bit of a dampener on the whole idea of her becoming the next Hawkeye. But going with what I think is going to happen in this movie, I like to have theories, man, okay? You know what? I like to have theories. I think people are going to come back in some way or another, and I think she's going to be one of the characters. You can also see that she's older than what they were in Age of Ultron when we first saw them and found out that he actually has a family. I think they're leading up to that with this, or maybe they're just doing this to create a lot more stress and tension for Hawkeye that he's getting with his family, and then they're gone. Theory. Look, like I said, man, I know it puts a dampener on it, but I want to have my cake and eat it. That's a weird saying. Why can't you have your cake and eat it? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think on that theory of cakes and eating it. Not groceries, just normal cakes. So like I said before, you do see Black Widow and Hawkeye sharing a lot of screen time in this. And in one scene, you actually see them holding hands together. This looks to be the same scene as where we first see in the original trailer, Hawkeye wiping the blade off that apparently has no blood in there, but there's clearly gonna be blood in the trailer, off of his sleeve on his arm. That leads me to believe that there's kind of going to be a moment, kind of like a what Black Widow does with the Hulk. The sun's getting real low. And speaking more on Black Widow, what's the deal with her hair? We initially see it as the as the short blonde hair, which we saw in Infinity War. And then later on, we do see her with hair that is longer, much longer. And it seems though that quite some time has gone by for that because she hasn't cut it. She has had varying lengths of hair within the MCU and stylings various red shades, but it's longer than what it was before. And if you look at the tips of the hair, it's actually got blonde tips, or it's been dipped blonde, or hair's grown out. The hair's grown out. And you also see in another scene, she's got the kind of braided hair there as well. And also you see a blonde braid at the back of her hair as well when she's shooting in the gun range, which actually matches in time with the music, which is really, really cool. And then we see Ant-Man in what I presume is going to be after the snap when he gets back from the quantum realm, because it shows that someone is missing. And I presume that is a person that was missing through the decimation. The real question is how did he get out? And I hope that it is clearly explained in Endgame. We get our first look at Thor properly, I guess you could say, in this movie. It looks like a very similar scene from when we see him come back from Vladimir, I believe it is called Vladimir. I don't know, where he got Stormbreaker and he lands and he says, "Bring me Thanos" in Infinity War. This scene looks very similar. Maybe it's just a different angle. Maybe they're just reusing clips like they did at the beginning of the trailer. Maybe it is possibly that they've gone back in time or another dimension and he's gonna do the business and actually aim for the head rather than letting his arrogance and cockiness get the better of him this time. In another scene, we actually see Nebula with two tonfas or electric staff stick things, weapons that she uses. We see her charging in at someone in what looks to be a very, very similar area to where we see Captain America with his shield struggling to put it on, and his face looks all sorts of dirty, fully sooted up, smoke is all around, but they do seem to be in a similar area. I'm thinking this could be them taking on Thanos or possibly a new villain. So the next Ant-Man scene that we actually have is very interesting because if you look at it, you kind of see a pencil, what looks to be a fan, a giant fan and a giant pencil, amongst other things that I couldn't really make out. It looks like office stuff that you see. And what I'm thinking with this is that most likely what has happened is that he's shrunken down. There's an attack on the Avengers facility because we know that he does end up there at some point. Or this could be an attack on his offices where he's got his security company. That, you know, is possible. I would be very interested to see what's going on with that. Are his people still alive, such as the character that T.I. plays and the other people's name that I can't remember. I'm sorry, I'm only human. And what's possibly the money shot of this trailer, we have the classic walking down the aisle, the super badass shot of all of these heroes. What's interesting is that I did not notice the first time around watching this, and I will link you to the my reaction video. You'll notice that I didn't see anything about this. We see Tony and Nebula on Earth in the quantum realm suits. Well, at the very least, we assume them to be quantum realm suits right now based on all the information we have had, and looking at it right now, the toys are the truth, and in this case, and it's what's happened. I think looking at Marvel and what they tend to do, and their or at least the Russo brothers in relation to what Infinity War has done in previous other movies, this clip here is not going to be in the final movie, or at least it will be changed for the final movie because they've recently wrapped roughly about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, as of the recording and possible uploading of this video. So I think that this scene, it seems a bit too spoilery to have it in there to show that Tony is back on Earth. Nebula probably wouldn't have been that crazy to show, but Tony, considering the first trailer, or maybe they're just taking us on a journey with the trailers, and then when we get to the big deal, we see everything, but I don't think it's gonna be there. It's too obvious to show them, or maybe they thought it was too obvious to not show us. We'll see when the movie happens. And what's even more intriguing about this, like I said before, we didn't see any Hulk before, and previously in other shots, we saw that there's a gap in between people walking and so on. No Hulk, and from what I saw, no Banner. And I find that highly interesting that nothing was there about this character who is very prominent and apparently is having his own story arc throughout the Avengers movies and other characters movies such as Thor Ragnarok, which was an adaptation of Planet Hulk. And finally, we have what is my personal favorite scene after watching Captain Marvel, which is a movie I did enjoy. A couple hiccups here and there, but overall I did enjoy the movie. We see Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, Carol Danvers with Thor, Chris Hemsworth. There's no other name that he kind of has. He just is Thor. He is a god. He is holding the hammer, Stormbreaker, and he's holding it pretty much in a very similar fashion of what he did to Loki in Thor Ragnarok to test, is he telling the truth? Is this really his dad? But obviously he knows that's the case, and Loki says, all right, that's enough, I'm out, I don't need this. He does a similar thing to Brie Larson. I think this is to test her, or rather Captain Marvel, not Brie. It's to test her resolve, to test her mettle, to see will she flinch, and she handled it like a champ. She did not move whatsoever. A lot of people are getting very uptight about that, saying that she should have tried to grab it, or he should have actually done it properly and let it smack in the back of the head. Either way, I'm happy with this scene. I think it's really cool. I think this was definitely a scene shot for the fans in relation to Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. I think it's a really cool shot to show her strength and how strong she is and how unscared she is and prepared. I think a conversation before that was literally like, I'm super strong, really, let's test this out. She doesn't do anything, and it's really cool because he looks very serious before this happens, as Thor often does when he's about to do something fun. And it happens and he's like, I like this one. I'm terrible at Thor voice, but you know, you get the point. Also, I do feel that this is another clip that is just for the trailer and will be adapted. Similar to how you had at the end of Winter Soldier, and spoiler alert, at the end of Captain Marvel, the mid-credit scene, I believe those scenes were adapted from that and obviously changed in the final cuts of the movie for Civil War and for what I presume will be the adjusted clip of Endgame. Either ways, dudes, with that being said, that was my breakdown of this trailer. I know it's a little bit late, but I have a life outside of YouTube, at least a little bit. So I've been doing other things and so on. I apologize for the lateness, but I know at least some of you are really happy that I'm doing this. Guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, let me know if I missed out anything or if there's any theories that you have. Let me know in the comment section below. There's gonna be videos in this area here, the subscription. Yes, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz. Also, share it with your friends if you enjoy this. And if you did not enjoy it, share it with your enemies because that's gonna be amazing. Hopefully they click on it and, you know, torture them with it. If they don't like you, hopefully they do click on it. But if not, whatevs. Dudes, I still don't have a sign off yet, so peace.